mom is missing. My mom is missing? What does that even mean? I had just been pulled into Elaine's office, and Dan and Casey are trying to explain to me what was happening to my mom, but I refused to believe it. It didn't make any sense. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. I was frozen. This feeling never quite went away until the day of her funeral, when I finally understood. My mom was dead, and so was my dad, and I had just finished my sophomore year of high school. That summer, the shock turned to grief, to anger, to sadness. Besides grieving for my mom, I worried about what my new life would look like, including how others might treat me at school. I'd felt this way before, in 3rd grade, back in Maryland. My dad had died of a heart attack, and all the kids knew. Death is a mystery to kids that age, and I found myself isolated when others didn't know how to act around me. I felt this again in 6th grade. My mom was drinking. Broken from the death of her husband, she turned to alcohol. She was in and out of rehab, so a family friend took care of us when she wasn't around. I was ashamed, and this shame kept me from reaching out. When the feeling struck again, it was 8th grade. My sister and I were starting at a new school, and my mom had just gotten out of rehab. I thought it was going to be a good year. But right before the school year started, I became very sick with Crohn's disease and missed the first 2.5 weeks of school. When I finally had the chance to go, my reputation became sick girl. Like my Crohn's and my mom's drinking, this never quite went away. I found it hard to make friends, not only because I was rarely at school, but because my peers never gave me the chance to make connections. So when my mom was admitted for rehab for the last time, and my aunt brought up the idea of leaving Maryland for Portland, I was ready for the change. My first days at Catlin flew by in a whirlwind. At moments, I questioned whether Catlin would be any different, but within days, I knew it was. I still remember sitting here in Cabell freshman year and watching all these courageous students come up on stage and talk about their gender identity, a concept I had never considered before. In that moment, as in countless others, I realized how Catlin accepts everyone and allows them to thrive as their true selves. Catlin truly cares about the individual. I felt like I belonged and like I was valued, both at school and at home. My mom moved out to Portland and she was sober. I knew Catlin was the place for me. But the summer after my mom died, I doubted this. I was that 3rd grader again, questioning whether her friends would treat her the same, or that 8th grader questioning whether it was the right school. But these fears were amiss. When I walked back onto campus the first day of junior year, the Catlin I had known remained. I went to CNC and nothing had changed, because Catlin hadn't changed. Chris and Tracy were their usual selves, cracking jokes and introducing the new freshmen. My classmates gave me hugs, not out of pity, but out of friendship. No one saw me as different or changed. They greeted me like everyone else. I felt an overwhelming sense of comfort knowing the most stable, important part of my life was going to continue undisturbed. I understand now, on the 2-year anniversary of my mother's death, that no other community could have supported me better through the last 4 years. And although my mom and dad will never have the chance to see me graduate, get married, or support me when life is hard, I know you guys will. So thank you for never changing, so I never had to change myself.